Welcome to this week's edition of Rugby Unfiltered. I'm your host, Jan de Koning, and with me, as always, the esteemed Loffie Eloff. Eugene, good day.
Hi, Jan. Great to be on the program back with you. And we are so privileged to have a good friend of mine here, all the way from New Zealand, Adrian Kennedy. And there's a bit of history with Adrian. He's married to a South African woman. I don't know why it is. Alan Sutherland and all the guys, Laurie Mains, they all come fetch their wives here. And look how young he's looking and how well he's looking. And but coming back to rugby, Adrian knows the game. He's got a passion for the game. He understands New Zealand rugby, and he also coached with Alan Solomons here at the Stormers. So we go back a long time, and it's great to have a good friend and somebody so knowledgeable about the game with us, and and most probably standing with his feet in two parts of the world, one with the All Blacks and one with the Springboks. So, Adi, welcome, man.
Thanks very much, Loffy, and thanks, Jan, for having me.
Yeah, Eugene, I know why they come to South Africa. It's good breeding stock.
Okay, I guess we must get away from that talk. But Jan, I know you've got an agenda up, but I think the one question that I do have for Adrian is, with all the changes that happened in the management of the All Blacks, what have they done differently regarding the preparation? So what are they going to bring differently to the table? The one thing that I can tell you is South Africa will never underestimate the All Blacks. And watching the final between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs, it's going to be a very, very interesting barometer of where All Black rugby and where Springbok rugby really is currently.
Absolutely agree with you entirely, Loffy. One of the big things I think that David Kirk, the chairman of New Zealand Rugby, has done is he and a group of men, the board, have really delved deep into what's going to take to bring success to the All Blacks again. And just through the interviews, getting the right people in place, I think they've done a fantastic job in doing that so far. So the handover is complete now, so it's up to Dave Rennie and his band of men, his coaching staff and his players to get it together. They've got a test against France in about 9 days' time here in Christchurch, so we all look forward to that.
Eddie, I'm glad you touched on that, but I saw a couple of interesting things. When they announced the team, they also chatted to Graham Henry, and as we well know, he's a World Cup winning coach, and he's got a title as Sir Graham. I'm not a big fan of titles, but in New Zealand, he's called Sir Graham Henry. And he said something very interesting to me, and I know we'll get to Dave Rennie and his team now, but he was in a podcast with a gentleman, and this guy was on about how New Zealand last year won three of the four quarters against the Boks, and how they were just minutes away from another big victory, and all sorts of things about. And Graham Henry just simply said to him, "We're too arrogant in New Zealand about our position in world rugby," and he paid a lot of respect to the Springboks, and I think it's that respect where the real knowledgeable people understand the passion that the two countries have and the beauty of the rivalry between these two countries.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. It's incredible to think, but during a period of our rugby history when we were very, very successful during the Richie McCaw era, I suppose when he was at the helm, 2011 to 15, people people did become arrogant. Our supporters, I believe, became arrogant. And we had a small section of the population who were saying, "Oh, it'd be better if we had better competition, if we lost every now and then to make it interesting." And no, that's just an absurd sort of mindset, really. And now people are more desperate for the All Blacks to do well again. I think the whole nation, we that's our flagship for New Zealand, are the All Blacks. So That's the very fabric of what we're about, I would like to think. And we ride on how they go.
You know, there's one thing that the real rugby people and coaches understand, that the verbal arrogance and abuse and chit chat on social media is not the coaches and the rugby people. It's maybe politicians and people that don't understand the game. But between the coaches, the code of conduct between coaches, the friendships between the coaches, the friendships between the players, the mutual respect between the players, uh, it's you cannot compare that to anything that people say in the media about. Because to be honest with you, if you look at the media, Jan, we're also arrogant. We're actually more arrogant currently. Going back in history and saying we've got so much World Cups and all this, man, that's all history. Uh, but what I'm excited about is I can feel something's happening. And what I'm seeing, guys, is that New Zealand and the All Black group and coaches and squad are very under the radar, and that is worrying me a bit. And I think the first test that we're going to see is when they play France now, uh, and that's what I'm saying. We're looking forward. 80, what's so great about it? It's like the old 70s, 80s test series where they come with the A and the B side, our provincial sides play, everybody plays, and there's a big hype in our country about this test series.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I would have loved to have been there, and that was my plan to be over there to watch. No, I think it's brilliant. You know, like the 1970, 1976 series in South Africa. Fantastic viewing. And I've gone over that many times in the past, late at night, watching those games, and what fantastic series they were. And I'm sure this one will be as well. I think the All Blacks will go about quietly building strength. And look, they couldn't go much further down after getting a walloping at in Wellington from the Springboks. So well played the Springboks, but really things had to change. And I think that the whole game has been taken apart on and off the field, and they're quietly building strength again. So I'm hoping they've got the right men in place. They've certainly picked the form players of the Super Rugby competition as we know it now. And hopefully that's reflective in the way they play.
Eddie, that may be a good time to look at the team itself. I mean, Dave Rennie has just named his first team for the year and ahead of the Nations Championship. And yeah, like you said, your first game is against France. What do you make in general? What do you make of the Dave Rennie's first team? We know it's a form based, and it's based on Super Rugby form. But what do you make of the team and the quality? Because we only get to see them on television, and we don't follow that because we've got the URC that we follow and European Cup that we follow most of the time.
Jan, I believe they'll look to play what is traditionally the All Black style of play. They'll play a high-paced, quick tempo game, much like much like the Hurricanes have played during their Super Rugby competition, being very skill based. But to be able to do that, you have to win quality possession, and that has always been a little bit of a problem playing against the Springboks. In winning quality possession, lineouts will play a huge role, I'm sure, and we possibly don't have the lineout the Springboks possess at the moment. The breakdown will be hotly contested, and yeah, that'll be great. The tackle contest will be very physical, I'm sure, but uh, the contest for possession will be vital for the All Blacks to play that high-paced game.
I
Probably
agree
the
with you.
challenges for the All Blacks is depth in some positions. Whereas the Boks, I would say, are blessed. They could almost pick two teams at the moment. But we don't have quite that same sort of depth, but it is building. And I'm pleased to say there's some good young guys coming through, but it'll take a little bit more time for that to really come to fruition. As I say, ability to win consistent stream of possession, that's going to be the key for the All Blacks. Ability to win lightning quick ball. If they can win lightning quick ball at breakdowns and winning the game line, well, then we could have a game on our hands. But yes, and also having a consistent goal kicker. I'm not sure if we've got one of those probably to even match or come anywhere near what the Boks have got in the goal kicking department.
Yes, Jan, AD's got a spot on, and I think that's one of the key issues. I think currently one of our strengths is our set phases, especially our scrums. We've got a good line-out set up, but that's not where the game ends. What I've seen, the bid play, the Hurricanes and the Chiefs and New Zealand teams playing, is their speed at the breakdown, how quick they clean it, how quick the ball is. If they can get front foot ball and they can determine the tempo, and then we're in for a big game. And I think that's what's exciting. But you have to win the collusion. That's where it is, and they've always been a physical team. And I think it's going to be that attrition, that contact is going to be a major part in this competition, who's going to dominate and who not. And we cannot predict and say it's going to be easy for us or easy for them. I think it's going to be two of the world's top country rugby teams playing each other.
Yeah, Eugene, I agree with you. I just want to touch. I mean, in the selection, a lot of these players are names to us. We haven't seen much of them. But what would you say is the biggest surprise, or perhaps the biggest bolter in the All Black team?
Yeah, I'll just cast my eye over that question, Jan, for a moment, so I will look down. The hookers, no surprises there. The props, I would say no surprises. Loose forwards, we've got a young German chap, Anton Segner, who's been selected. That's quite a backstory to that one. He came over to New Zealand when he was 16. He went to, I better get the college right, I'm sure he went to Nelson College, played first 15 rugby there for 2 years, was snapped up. He played for Tasman in the Air New Zealand Cup, and then was picked up by Auckland for Super Rugby. And he's become an All Black just only a few years later. So that's quite a story.
What are your stocks like? Because to me, I mean, there doesn't look much depth. I know that the Springboks have some injuries as well, but yeah, what is your lock stocks like based on what is in the team at the moment?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Jan, without trying to give too much away. But yes, yeah, we're a bit light in the locking department. Yeah, quite inexperienced in that regard. But here's hoping. Over the next few weeks, they go up to another level, because they'll need to in a hurry. Now we're very bit light at lock.
Is the likes of Scott Barrett not being there, does it have him being the captain as well? Does it have a big influence on the leadership of the group?
I think he is a very fine player, Scott Barrett. We'll certainly miss his presence. He's a very good player. We'll miss his work rate. His leadership, I think his leadership was the burden of leadership affected his performance. Not knowing all the ins and outs and not being privy to what's happening on the inside, but sitting from afar, that's what struck me, that the weight of leadership did affect his performance. So when he does eventually come back, I think he'll play with more freedom and become an even better player. That's what I'm hoping for. But I think that will be true.
Would that make Artie's Severe's appointment as captain? Would that make was that a great move on behalf of Rennie?
I think so, because they've got a tight connection already, because they knew one another from their Wellington days. They've been in Japan together. They were at the same club there. And I think Ardie Savea is the type of character. He just goes from one job to the next. And he seems to have great influence over younger players, all players actually in the squad. So, and I think he's very respectful the way he conducts himself. So I think, no, he's a good choice.
And your playmaking roles, I mean, talk to us about Ruben Love. I mean, we all hear about him as a new young kid. I mean, we got like a Sasha here. So is he the new playmaker that's going to unlock the All Blacks attack?
He very well could be, young. He's got amazing skills. If given the opportunity at Super Rugby level, he runs hot. He hasn't had that many games where he's failed, so he keeps growing every time he plays, as far as I see. He could be one on your firmer grounds. He could be a threat, particularly if they get that lightning quick ball that we seek. Yeah, he could be one to watch for sure. He's got a lot of skills.
Jan, what I liked about him, if you talk about that, if you first 5-8, as they call them in New Zealand, our fly-offs, he attacks the advantage line. And he's not a small boy, and he's quick off the mark. And I think he brings something different than the traditional, predictable sort of game in that position. And I'm looking forward to seeing him as well. And I agree with Adi. I think he's going to be the guy.
The other one I want to ask you about, Adi, is Anton Leonard Brown. He also comes with Dave from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, haven't seen, well, yeah, haven't seen Anton Leonard Brown this year, because I think he took a sabbatical. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, but I think he was out, but he's been selected. Yeah, well, he's vastly experienced. He's played a lot of rugby, played a lot of good rugby, so hopefully he can slot back in and continue. But yeah, he's a fine, steady player, and I think he'd do a good job. I'm excited about one of the wingers, Josh Morby from the Hurricanes. I think he's big, strong, quick, and a very good finisher. So yes, he could light up if he sees a bit of ball.
Yeah. Isn't Josh Morby the guy that just signed overseas and now trying to get out of his contract so he can stay with the All Blacks?
No, that's not him. Now, if I could pronounce the chap's name, it'd be great, but I'm not sure how to. That's terrible, isn't it? But Fainga Nafo, similar to that, but left winger for the Hurricanes. Yeah, very fine player. He's been signed by Newcastle, but I think there's a bit of discussion going on in the background about whether he actually goes or not. It could be very dependent on how he goes in these few tests before the greatest rivalry series.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe now's a good time to switch to firstly the Nations Championship. I mean, we got, like you said, this coming week, the tournament starts on the 4th of July. The Springboks are obviously at home to England. You guys have got France. Those to me are the two standout matches of the first weekend. Eugene, maybe you got something else that you look forward to, but I think those are the two matches that can tell us a lot about where this tournament and where the teams are.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be very good to watch those games.
Yeah, I think for the coaches, what I wanted to say to Adi as well. I don't know if you're aware that Rossi's pulled up two of our under 20 players that would have gone to Georgia now into the squad. A lock, a young guy who we actually Riley Norton
Yes, I've
earmarking
seen him
to.
play. He looks
He's a
good.
fantastic young player. He's 20 years old, and then Vuzu Moyo, also a first 5'8", and which is going to make it interesting. So I don't know if the build up with New Zealand and France is the same as ours, because the end of the year tour, to the UK for us, England started preparing us mentally for this. This is going to be like the Anglo-Boer War here in South Africa, but on a serious note, I think for us it's going to be to measure ourselves against a good side. And for them, I guess for their coach, to see if he can maybe come stake down a claim here and beat, as we call ourselves, the world champions. So for us, it's a big measurement game and it's not most probably going to be one of the spectacular games everybody wants to see. I think it's going to be very, very defensive games, territorial games, and also accuracy games rather than flair and stuff.
No, that's right, Loffy. I think traditionally, and from what I've seen of the Springboks, their first test match of the year, and the same for the All Blacks, is probably not not the flashiest, is not their best, and everyone's excited about this first test of the year, and it normally turns into a bit of a fizzer. It's not very good. So that's what I'm half pie expecting. But if it turns into be a great test match, well and good. But I think traditionally the first test match is not the greatest, and then they sort of slowly build from there.
But Jan, I agree. The other thing, I'm very excited about this competition because the whole time, the end of the year, we hear that the Northern Hemisphere is caught up with the Southern Hemisphere. And then when the World Cup time comes, it all sort of changes and evaporates. But I actually like this competition, Jan, that's coming now. Because I'm worried if I look at, our preparation this week, playing against a team like Zimbabwe that's going to the World Cup, I think the World Cup is losing a bit of shape and form, and having teams like Romania, and I'm not taking any away from them. And where I think this competition North-South, it's going to be more power versus power.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
I think if we quickly, gentlemen, let's just look at round one. So we start off with New Zealand against France, and Japan against Italy. Then Australia, Ireland is a mouth-watering game. Fiji against Wales. I mean, even though it's in Cardiff, I still would put some money on Wales. On Fiji, apologies, on Fiji. So Africa, England, Argentina, Scotland. I mean, that's just some amazing stuff that we can look forward to this coming week.
No, it's certainly mouth-watering. It'll be good viewing. The TV will get a lot of viewing this for that period.
Yeah.
Jan, you know what? The one team that you mentioned now, I had a feeling that Wales turned the corner. By the end, the last few games last year, in December, November, they played better. And I don't think Fiji's just going to rock up there and beat them. They're playing for a lot of pride. And they are a rugby nation. So I think that's going to be an interesting game. It's not an easy one to call. If you play at home and you play for pride and you actually want to get back, getting momentum and the people to like the team again. And of course, the first games we all play, a coach wants to win the game. Doesn't matter how ugly it is, how far big the scores is, just to get a win and get momentum on your side.
Yes, this is a good time to switch to our predictions. So, Luffy, AD, I'm going to start with you guys. I'll give you the game, and then you guys give me your predictions. So let's start with New Zealand, France. AD?
Oh, I'd have to go New Zealand at home in Christchurch, first test match there.
I'm going with AD there with New Zealand.
Japan, Italy in Tokyo.
Oh, I'd go Japan.
I'm going with Italy.
Right. Australia, Ireland in Sydney.
Maybe Ireland.
My rugby brain says Ireland, but my heart says the Aussies down under.
Fiji, Wales in Cardiff.
I'll go Fiji.
I'm going Wales.
Argentina, Scotland in Cordoba.
I'm going
Argentina.
Argentina.
Okay, last one, the big one, gentlemen. South Africa, England at Ellis Park.
Oh, the Boks.
I'm going for the Boks.
Well, gentlemen, it was nice chatting. I think we probably could chat for another hour, but we don't put our viewers to sleep. But it's going to be interesting if you guys are excited as I am. I can't wait for the games, and let's see how our predictions go. So maybe our viewers can tell us in the comment section how far they think, how far off they think we are, or whatever they think of our comments, and maybe give us some feedback. And then, yeah, share the video, share the podcast, and maybe like it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
John,
Jan.
we must make a note of where me and AD differ, so that we can have a few beers together for everyone. I had wrong or you had wrong. I went out of the box. And yeah, AD, it was so good to see you, man. And
Good
thanks
to
for
see
spending
you.
time with us.
Yeah, excellent. Very good, gents. Enjoy the rugby, guys.
Thanks, bud.
There you have it. Till next
Cheers.
week. Enjoy the rugby. Cheers.